Welcome to my channel. If you are viewing for the first time, please do well to subscribe to the channel. Today, I'll be talking is this snail farming difficult and how easy it is. Most people have been asking this question. It has been a disturbing question. How is this snail farming is? For me, I would say it's a less intensive farming you can start up. It's a farming that doesn't really take much of your capital in terms of finance. Being a beginner, you want to go into snail farming. It's not something that will cost you much, but how we always advise every beginner, every potential farmers to start little. You who have the passion to go into snail farming to learn how to breed snail, how to grow snail. I always advise every beginner to start small. You can start up with 50 points of lay, which is a egg-laying snails. You can start up with 50 points of lay, egg-laying snails. You can see that is a point of lay snails. Breeders, well mature at the verge of laying. You can start up with a point of lay snails. You can have a backyard pen, a smaller pen like the one you can see there. You can start up and wish you can start growing your snails. You try to acquire the rightful knowledge. And snails feed doesn't cost much. You can most of the leftover feed, mostly potato peas. You can feed your snail potato peas. You can feed your snail watermelon, leftover watermelon. You can feed your snails. Snail can feed on garbage. Snail can feed on many things we see as refuse. Most vegetables, snail can feed on them. So pawpaw is also rich for snails. You can also feed your snail pawpaw leaf, pawpaw fruit, which are very much recommended for snails, feeding snails well-being. Snail really likes pawpaw. Pawpaw is very rich for snail. So when you have your point of lay, which are the breeder snails, or in other words, the breeder snails, you can stock them. Stock about 50. You being a beginner, you can stock about 50 points of lay. You feed them the right vegetables. Remember, snail doesn't feed on salt. Salt is not good for snails. Salt is harmful to snails. Anything salt content is harmful to snails. So please, I don't advise anybody to feed their snails cooked food. Whatever cooked food that have salt content should be avoided. It is very dangerous to snails' well-being. So you can start up with 50 points of lay, have a backyard pen. You put in the managerial practices in terms of feeding at the night. Snails is a nocturnal animal. You can feed them at night. You do the moistening, salting. You don't stock snails of different sizes in one pen. That's why salting is very important. So when you ensure you pack over the left droppings of feces, it's very hygienic. You do all of that. When you do all of that, you make your snails grow well. You make your snails healthy. So it is important you do the feeding at the right time. In the morning, you come up, you do the cleaning, you do the moistening, you change the water. When your snails start laying eggs, you carry out the incubation process. It's also good you learn all of that. The first thing you need to learn is the process of stocking. You do the sorting, you do the feeding, and you learn on the process of the snail incubation, on how to incubate the snails and how to also manage the hatchlings, the young growing snails. When you do the incubation successfully and the snail emerge hatched alive, you carry out the process of growing your young baby snails to the different sizes, the grower sizes, the point of lay, and the jumbo sizes, then you have really done great. You have really perfect. You have really show commitment in the farming. So snail farming is not something that will take much of your capital. It just require it's a farming that is less expensive because most of what we feed snails commonly around the environment. You can feed your snail pawpaw leaf, like I earlier said. You can go to the market. You see those who sell watermelon. You take over the back of the watermelon, the leftover. You can feed your snails that, of which they will be very well. You can feed your snail garbage. Garbage is also rich for your snails. Potato peas. These are things that are rich for snails, which will encourage their growth and development. No, it doesn't require any qualification to start up with snail farming. You can just sort out for knowledge on how to grow snails. You can sort out for knowledge on how to grow snails. When you do that, you see you thrive. You'll be making progress in snail farming. So as a beginner, you want to start up. You being a beginner, you want to know how to grow your snails. You can start up little. When you start up little, you see yourself making progress, and you are having progress successful. You're being successful with the little. Then if you see you have been able to achieve growth, then you can go through a large scale farming. So snail farming is not really difficult, but most importantly, your time matters a lot. You show commitment, you check on your snails, how they are feeding, and mostly snails is mostly active in the night time. At night, you check them within the hour of 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Then you check out for your snails to see how they are faring. It is mostly important you do the checking at the night. That's when you know if your snails are healthy, to know if your snails are feeding well. So do encourage every farmer, every beginner to always watch their snails at night to see how smart they are, to see how they are faring. That's when you will know your snails is being active or your snails are weak. So it is not really difficult. It's not really a farming that will take much of your time, that will take much of your capital, but most important is the management. When you carry out a good managerial practices, when you carry out a good management, like I earlier said, the sorting, you don't stock snails of different sizes in one pen. So you stock snails of same age, like the grass snails. You should all grass snails. If you are stocking about 50 amount of a particular snail, it should be the same size, is the same age. You don't stock point of lay and grass or ashlings in one pen. No, that could result to cannibalism, and cannibalism can affect the snail's well-being. It can also affect the snail growth, and which can easily prompt or result to mortality. So sorting is very important when you are stocking your snails in the pen. So you do the aspect of sorting. You sort the snails before stocking them. Sort them very well before stocking them. You check around the environment. The environment must be hygienic, must be tidy. You don't stock your snails in an environment that is prone to flood, that is unhygienic. So all of these things should be considered when you are trying to situate your pen. It should be a place that is avoidable of sunlight. Sunlight is not good for snails. Snails doesn't like heat. So all of these things should be considered when you want to go into snail farming. The environment matters a lot. So snail farming is not something really difficult in terms of finance. Like I said, you being a beginner, you can start up with a little amount of snails. When you see you are making progress, then you can go into large scale farming. You can start up with about 50 amount of point of lay snails. In terms of feeding, you can sort out for feed. You can go to the marketplace, which you can sort out for leftover garbage, watermelon. Those are things that are rich for snails. Like I said earlier, avoid salt content. Whatever food that have salt content should be avoided. So when you do all of this, you see that snail farming is very interesting, and it's not something very difficult that involve a lot of finance, a lot of money to go into. Okay, thank you for watching. We'll be bringing more important tips, idea on how to be a successful snail farmer, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting topic we'll be bringing up.